So folks, part 2 of what happens when you get shot. If you didn't catch the first part, please do so. Take a few minutes and look it up so as you get more of a feel of what we're doing here. We've talked so far about what happens when you get shot in the head. It is a complicated area, but there's no guarantees as always. You have to hit the brain so as to make sure you get a higher percentage of stopping. Even hitting the brain may not do it. Okay, so even though it's one of the worst places you can get shot yourself, don't expect 100% stops when shooting at the head. The face, especially the face, tends to be pretty ineffective, and it may hurt a lot, may achieve good results, but there's no guarantees. There's a nerve going through the jaw here. Okay, that's the spot when boxers hit the jaw and you see the guy go down bad. When you see that, that's because they stroke the jaw, and that nerve shuts down the person, and that's why he's knocked down. If you shoot the jaw and you hit that nerve, you may be getting those results. Now that's not something you can be counting on. Okay. It's going to be something that isn't planned. You're not going to be planning to shoot the nerve in the jaw. It's going to be a face shot and somewhat achieving results or not. About the brain, one more time, no guarantees. There's a video online that I've seen of a rapist in Brazil, I think, or some other South American country. I think it was a rapist or a child molester. Well, the people got hold of him. They shot him 7 times, and the video starts with the guy lying in a pool of blood, right? Shot 7 times. Now, what is surprising is that this gentleman is in a pool of blood, and he has a shovel halfway through his head, embedded in his cranium. Okay, he has a shovel halfway through the head. Okay, and the guy is asking for water. All right, so if a shovel halfway through the head didn't get the job done and he's asking for water, it still means that he is still able to pull a trigger if he's inclined to do so. So again, no guarantees on any of this stuff, folks. Don't count on it. What about counting on different calibers? Can I say, okay, the 44 Magnum is going to be putting down the person no matter what? No, that's not a guarantee either. Let's keep moving down the human body and the different parts. We talked about the head, the neck. What happens when you get shot here in the shoulders? That's certainly not what would appear to be at first a lethal shot, and it's not. Yet I know of a case where someone got shot in the shoulder. He got knocked down, and he was armed, and he still wasn't able to fire back. Right? Why was that? Because he got shot in the shoulder with a 45 ACP, such as this one, and you have a bone here and a socket in the shoulder, and you have an important nerve that goes through here. The shot hit him in this exact area. The pain was obviously too much, so he collapsed because of the nervous shock it created. You know when you sometimes hit your elbow and you feel like a current through your arm, through your body. Imagine a round going through that nerve. He was armed. This bad guy got shot here, and he couldn't fire back to the good guy that was defending himself. So he went down, and he eventually lost the entire arm. Right? He lost the arm because cutting through that nerve just did it for him. What happens when you get shot in the arms? Those are, of course, not stoppers per se, but they may be for you, and let me explain that a little bit better. I'm going to be using another sheet of paper because this requires it for a proper explanation. When you're shooting something, when you're shooting yourself, you may be doing this. Okay, you bring the gun up to your face level. All right. Okay, are you familiar with this? See a person shooting with one gun, with one hand. Shooting with both hands, you would be doing something like this, right? Now, do you notice something? And it is that your hand and your arms are getting placed in the center of mass, and that's where people shoot at. Instinctively or consciously, people shoot at the center of mass, and when you're shooting back yourself, your hands may be in that position. Also, there's an instinctive reaction humans have of placing their hands and their arms in front of them when they feel threatened or when they feel attacked. So what this means is that, again, your arms are being placed in the center of mass. Instinctively, you're doing something that may as well save your life, because a shot may go through your arm but may avoid hitting the chest. So that's good. Instinct usually is good. It works in your favor. A relative of my brother-in-law, he got attacked while leaving the ATM. He got shot like 9 times. He was shot full of holes. It was hard to tell how many times he had been shot, because it was speculated that 9mm, again 9mm, had gone through the arms and then the chest and the stomach and the torso area in general. So he had many wounds all over. He still managed to survive. He got shot so many times. He went down. They kept shooting him in the floor as well, but he still survived. So it did stop him. Indeed, it did. He almost died. He spent months in hospitalized, recovering from those wounds, but he did manage to survive. So a small tip to keep into consideration when you go to shooting schools and they teach you weak hand shooting or left hand shooting, whatever you want to call it, how to reload your firearm with your other hand, doing that single-handed. That's important, folks, because of this. Because during a gunfight, there's a significant chance of you getting shot in the arms during the fight. During the force and force training that I've done, almost every time I got shot in one occasion or another in the arms or hands because of this, because people do that when they shoot. Moving back to our buddy here, let's put a face into him so he doesn't look so, yeah. Dude, you're gonna be getting shot a lot. The torso area, what happens? You have your lungs, you have the heart here, you have your stomach, your guts. The most effective area will usually tend to be this one. That's where you train to shoot, the upper torso. Why is that? Because there's organs that are more important. There's the greater chance of hitting the heart, which will not achieve an instant stop, but it's as close as you can get. There's other main blood vessels going up and down here as well. You have the lungs. So again, what happens when people get shot? As I said in the first video, most of the time people don't even notice it when they are in the fight. They don't even notice that they got shot. Only afterwards do they check themselves for blood. Some people will tell you about feeling a burn, a sting. In other occasions, when it hits a main blood vessel or a larger caliber hits the lungs, for example, and it starts bleeding fast, for example, a hollow point through the lungs from a 40 Smith & Wesson, what I carry myself, 357 SIG, these are gonna be making a significant wound. It's gonna be bleeding internally very fast. That's when you see people when they get shot, sometimes they collapse forwards or backwards. If they go down, like they faint. If they collapse because of the wound they received, they sort of faint forwards or backwards, or just they go down on their knees and then fall sideways. And you sometimes hear like a guttural sound. That's sometimes because they have trouble because of the internal bleeding. Because if it hit a main artery and if it hit the heart as well, they're suffering this huge amount of shock. Internal bleeding as well will make that sound in the lungs. So when someone gets shot and he goes down because of this, that's sometimes what you usually end up hearing, that sound of pain or discomfort. Now, getting shot in the lungs, will that assure you all the time 100% that the person's going to be going down? No, but it is going to be bleeding a lot internally, and internal bleeding, you may not be seeing it but it is getting the job done in terms of stopping someone. It may not be 100%, but again, what you're shooting and where you're hitting. People that are good at gunfighting, people that have training a lot and are effective at it. I know many people that are very good at it, and one of the best gunfighters that I know actually carries this a lot, 9mm, because that's what he gets issued. He gets issued it by the police, and this is what he has to carry. No, he doesn't have much of a say in that, and he's still very effective in gunfights. He survived many of them, and he's still around. I mean, he got shot plenty as well. He has a 38 in the arm. Again, he's still around. He's still alive. He's still teaching this stuff. But you know, if you face someone that is accurate with his handgun, and he's just shooting a punny full metal jacket, which almost seems, you know, like sacrilege to even say it, full metal jacket 9mm. Well, if this guy puts 2 or 3 rounds in this area, I mean, you're gonna be in a world of trouble, because there's a great chance of something significant, something important being hit. All right, so 9mm being the minimum that most of us consider carrying. If it's placed in a, if it's a shot, if those shots are placed in this area, you know, 2 or 3 shots is gonna be getting the job done in most cases. Always, you cannot talk about absolutes. In no way can you talk about absolutes, because there's always a chance of, no matter what you did, the guy may survive. Folks, always remember the guy that got shot 7 times and has a shovel, halfway a shovel, folks, in case you think something is getting lost in translation. A shovel, dirty, rusted, and it actually broke apparently from impact, because he only had the metal part halfway through the head. All right, always remember that guy. Shovel through the head didn't do the job. There's a good chance that ammunition will not do it either. The area you will be going for, the area where chances are you may get shot yourself during a gunfight. Okay, the area you don't want to get shot, but still there's a chance of you surviving it, especially if it goes into your beautiful mug, where there's lots of bones, lots of bleeding, but not the brain. All right, let's keep moving down. What about getting shot in the guts? It hurts a lot. There's a good chance of surviving. Nonetheless, if you receive surgery, I understand it's very painful. But some people that have talked to me about getting shot in this area, one guy, he works in a gun store. He got shot here accidentally. More in the center, around here. He got shot with a 45 ACP automatic Colt pistol, which is this one, guys. Pretty effective at what it does. Remember, I said that. Yet in this case, he got shot accidentally. He just saw, you know, chocolate, as we call it here. You know, he saw the chocolate pouring from his abdomen. He called the ambulance. They picked him up and took him to the hospital, and he went through surgery. They cut him open a bit, removed the intestines, and cut whatever needed cutting, patched up whatever needed patching up. Lost some of his intestine, but they shoved it back inside, sewed him together, gave him antibiotics, left a few drainage holes, and he survived, and he's still selling me guns today. So, you know, he's still around in spite of 45 through the guts. Another case of someone getting shot in the guts with a 44 Magnum. 44 Magnum, pretty big, pretty powerful cartridge. In this case, it was a criminal that he went to rob a store with a 44 Magnum. The store owner fought with him and shot him back with his own 44 Magnum, and the criminal just ran. It was probably a jacket hollow point or a flat nose like this one, with lead exposed. The thing is, he ran like a couple of blocks. I'm not talking about walking. He actually ran 2 blocks with his guts coming out of the hole made by the 44 Magnum. He, according to witnesses, he kept his guts in place with his hand as he ran. Okay, so imagine the guy running with his guts coming out of the wound. Is it a place where you can expect much efficiency in terms of stopping power? No, but there's always a chance of some other organs getting hit. If you get hit in the kidneys, for example, which are around here, a shot in the kidneys with a 44 Magnum, he's down for good for sure. I can assure you that, because it's an organ that hurts a lot even when punched. Boxers, again, when boxers hit, a kidney shot, and the guy goes down like a sack of potatoes, he collapses, he's knocked out. I mean, sometimes they even go unconscious. It's extremely painful to get punched in the kidneys. So getting shot in the kidneys is going to be achieving something similar. An old lady, during a home invasion that the criminal forgot his weapon, the old lady picked up the 32 long. That's pretty punny in terms of stopping power. She went after him with his own gun. He took out a knife that he had. The lady shot for a lady that had probably no experience, but since it was a revolver, she just pulled the trigger and fired. One round in the stomach, the guy went down. He didn't cut anything in spite of having a knife. He couldn't even stab the lady back in return. What probably happened? It probably hit something important in the body. Maybe the 32, that if it's a lead round nose, it probably penetrated nicely. Maybe it hit the spine in the back. Maybe it hit the kidneys and achieved that immediate stopping power that we all are looking for in terms of defensive shooting. The groin area. Yeah, you don't want to be getting shot in this area for sure. What about the hip? The hip bone is something like this. It's like a circular structure. So if you get shot there, some people have suggested in the past that shooting someone in the hip is a good way of making sure they go down. Not always, folks, not always. Sometimes you get shot in the hip. I know 2 people that got shot in the hip, and they weren't even put out of the fight. They in one case it fractured the hip, but since it's a circular structure, it just keeps you. I mean, it can be very painful. There is a chance of you going down or not, but it's not something that you should purposely be going for, because it's not going to be achieving what some people believe, that it's like taking the legs out of the person and going down. It may not do that result. What about your legs? There's a significant importance between the upper part of your leg and the lower one, below the knees and above them. Below the knees, you don't want to be getting shot anywhere in the body, but if you're going to be giving me the choice of getting shot here or here, please shoot me here, okay? Why not here? Because you have the femoral artery going through it, all right? A person that I know and had the chance to talk to, he was extremely well trained in firearms and self-defense shooting. Very good shooter, actually wins many competitions both in South America and in North America as well. His name will remain, not going to be mentioning that. He was working in Venezuela security. He was transporting money for this person, and what happened was that he got mugged. He turned around and was facing a Glock pistol shoved to his face. A 9mm Glock, according to him. He actually managed to see the muzzle and actually tell that it was a 9mm Glock. His reaction to that, he started shooting, okay? So, another piece of paper to explain the situation. He was here, okay? He was here, and the bad guy was in front of him, and what the bad guy was doing was what he probably saw in many movies, which is this, pointing that way. Give me the money, yeah, give me the money. What he did is start shooting. So as soon as he started moving, this guy shot. He shot a round that hit him here, right? Now he draw his gun, Glock 22, put 2 rounds to this guy, killing him right there. He then went looking for his friends, as he had trained before, and saw a guy leaving in a motorcycle. A guy leaving in a motorcycle over there. And he put 2 rounds into this guy as well. And killed this guy over there as well. Right? Up until now, he didn't even realize he had been shot. He just shot this guy and then turned and placed 2 shots in this guy as well. Then he felt a hand touching his shoulder. He turned around, shoved him, ready to shoot that guy as well. but then realized it was an old man walking around that was only concerned and wanted him to know that he had been shot in the leg. He didn't calm down, you know, the excitement, imagine the adrenaline. A cop came by and told him, okay, this one you had a reason for shooting, but this one you shot in the back like 50 meters away. That's not a good kill. He had like 2 million bolivares, which is like $2,000, and arranged the situation right there. He got shot in this area. It barely missed the artery, and of course, you know, anywhere you can go for it was a lucky shot, all things considered. So folks, what happens when you get shot is that most likely you won't feel it. If you're lucky, you will survive it. There's a good chance of that. If you just feel yourself collapse, then it's probably something important that got hit, and you know, you should be getting medical attention right away. Of course, that's a given, but you know, just a small conversation on what probably happens in such circumstances. I hope you enjoyed. Well, I don't think there's much to enjoy, but I hope it was at least informative, this conversation, and to know what to expect from what happens when people, good guys or bad guys, get shot with guns. All right, folks, see you on our next video. Take care. And remember, there's always the forum for more information, themodernsurvivalist.com, and I'll probably be writing an article about all this so as to keep everything, you know, sorted out. Take care and see you on our next video. Bye bye.